everybody. Welcome to the Shead Show. I'm your host, Ryan. This is my co-host,
Not
Ian.
that white dude yesterday. That's who this is. So, that's what I'm about to say to you.
We're going right there, huh?
Bro,
Woo!
I made sure I wore my Malcolm X and my Martin Luther King shirt doing stank on you, okay?
Fuck, I need that shirt.
I made sure that I'm bringing some hot sauce to this episode. I'm making sure that we got some seasoning because I don't know what that mayo shit was yesterday. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm coming in hot today. I'm coming in hot.
I definitely could have used your comedic... I could have used that. I could have used that seasoning yesterday.
All I gotta say is, my man moved the mic and then he leaned into this shit. I straight up thought, all right, I want to tell you what I really thought. I thought Freddy Krueger was about to come through that shit and choke my man. Okay, that's what I thought. I'm gonna tell you straight up. I watched, and as you did this, I kid you not, I thought myself.
I haven't gone back to watch it yet.
Ryan, I straight up was like this. I said, we about to fight, bro? We about to fight. That's what we about to fight. Okay. I know that shit. I know that lean in. How you doing, man? I would say, how are you? But you know what? I saw you yesterday. So the world saw you yesterday.
The whole world saw me yesterday. Speaking of that, I found this very interesting. So this came off of AI. This came off of Grok AI. Ryan Shed vs. Joey Manarino Rumble Showdown. In a special edition of the Shed Show on Rumble, Ryan Shed and Joey Manarino are set to face off on a highly anticipated episode. I don't know what episode that is, but sure isn't mine. Airing on April 11, 2024. The event has sparked significant buzz and anticipation, with viewers speculating about what might unfold during the live broadcast. The show will be available on multiple platforms, including Twitter and YouTube's, ensuring a wide audience can tune in. Despite personal opinions about the participants, the appearance of both individuals has generated excitement for the upcoming episode. I made AI, dude.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you right now, you about to fight the Matrix. Do this shit again. You move that mic on me. I'm telling you right now.
That's what happens, and then the Matrix starts glitching.
I'll tell you straight up. Oh my God! I counted them. I said, okay, that's a fight. That's a fight. That's a fight. That's a fight. That's a fight.
I will. Like, I don't know if I should give him credit for that, or honestly,
I will.
It's like,
I will. As being an outsider, I will give him credit for sticking around and showing
taking
up,
it.
B, sticking around.
There's you got to give him credit. You got to give him credit for that.
It's a fine line. I mean, a part of me felt a little bit of it was like, cock holding. I don't know, but there's something there. There's something there. So
it was.
I don't know my man's history though.
Yeah, I mean,
history, but I took notes. I took notes.
Yeah, I do look forward to hearing the notes. But I think this week, especially after yesterday, I want to start off a little heavy this week, and hopefully we can end on a lighter note. Hopefully.
Because yesterday you ended it hot.
Yeah, I ended. I was going in hot, and I was leaving hot. But no, and again, I just want to give a shout out to everybody who showed up yesterday. I mean, we've got over 25,000 views on Twitter alone. It's definitely my best video so far here on YouTube. So to everybody that's watched, shared it, engaged in the comments, just big shout out to you guys. Like I said, I don't take you all for granted, and I know, that Ian and I and myself, the social media that you guys all project, without you sharing this stuff, I would be a nobody. What I say would not reach anybody. So I love you all. Thank you so much. And with that, we're going to go into a topic that we tended to kind of stay away from here on the show for numerous reasons. But like everything, I think the time has come for us to use our platform to talk about this, because this is a serious implication, and if it's accurate, which from the outside looking in, it sure as hell looks like it is, that's a problem. So what we're talking about here is the Gaza Ministry of Health is faking casualty numbers. And I have the article here that I want to talk about so that we have a visual aid. So brother, you sent me this article, so I wanted to let you take the lead here, but we're definitely going to volley this back and forth. There,
Yeah, yeah.
go ahead.
Well, let's start from the beginning. So
Yeah,
October 7th happens. Some could
I don't
say
like
that
that
is
one.
genocide. But
There we go.
it happens. War starts, and now Israel goes in for what they now have deemed war. They're going to war with Hamas. Uh, One of the biggest questions that I've asked from the beginning is how are they documenting all these deaths? And I want to make something very clear. When you're talking about the Ministry of Health, you're talking about Hamas. Hamas ran. So if we're talking about dealing with terrorists, fighting terrorists, negotiating with terrorists, why wouldn't the terrorists be giving out numbers? Because, and as we've always talked about, this being a proxy war, the fact that information is a weapon. And when you
Yes.
see that information is being used the way it is, much like when you and I have talked about like drone footage, how they're shooting stuff, what they're talking about, what they're putting out there,
Yep.
content is a killer, literally.
For sure.
And the fact that they are painting the narrative as playing the victim. And I'm not going to go as far as to say like they're like Trump, where they're like, starting shit and then playing the victim and trying to ride it both ways. But Hamas is in that boat of trying to have its cake and eat it too, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one of the biggest things that I get from this is that, when you're looking at the numbers, and in this article it breaks it down, it's not like, hey, they're just fake and this is that. They're like, no, math doesn't lie. And if you
Yeah.
look at the correlation of the data that is actually there from the beginning of the war into November, from when it was actually being documented as much as possible, some things are not adding up. And this article
Yeah.
really breaks down that exact math. And for example, they'll say in this, they'll show that the day that it was documented that children died at a high level, there was no women. And they're like, well, wait a minute. Okay, well, how does that make sense? Because usually when you're looking at the casualty list, it's a lot of women with children. But they were breaking down the data, saying like, okay, well, this whole 70% of the people dying in Gaza right now are women and children. And they're like, okay, but that's not breaking down what children are fighting. So you're talking about 13, 14, 15, 16, right? That's still a child
Yeah.
with a weapon. And if they're being killed, that's a child being killed, but that's not a child that is a soldier.
But it should be classified as a soldier, right? Right.
But it should be classified as a soldier. So that's one number where nothing's being actually like the deep dive that we need to actually know what's going on out there. Minus this whole little 30,000. And it made me think about, and we've talked about this, where it was like, okay, well, there was a hospital, 500 people were blown up. And I remember you and I were just like, wait a minute, like, this just happened. How do you know 500 people just blew up? Like,
Yeah.
how do you know these numbers?
It's
And
early for
everybody
these
just
that
ran with
kind of numbers to be coming out. Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like within 10 minutes, they were already putting it out there. 500 killed in hospital, blown up by Israel. And it's like, where is this? And this is the conversation.
And by the way, it ended up being like, what was it, like 7 or something like that?
7 people in a parking lot.
Yeah.
That was friendly fire by jihad. Like Hamas shot their own people by accident. And so the thing that's going on here, you have Hamas that says they didn't rape. Guess what? Data showed they raped. You have Hamas saying they're not misfiring and blowing up their own people. Guess what? They're misfiring and blowing up their own people. They have Hamas saying that they're not raiding their own food trucks. Guess what? They're raiding their own food trucks. They're also saying they're not hiding under or with civilians. Guess what? They're hiding amongst civilians. So when you look at every single situation that's going on there, you're like, well, wait a minute. Following this math that is literally out there, you're like, how is this something that we can literally take in to consideration? Because I'm not for this side or that side. I'm like, what does the data say? Because the fact that they came out and they're like, all right, well, now the president of the United States is over here quoting Hamas numbers. We have a problem. And we need to now start addressing this. So I found this article to be very telling. And I really do hope anybody who has an open mind just reads it and just think about it for yourself. Because that's the only thing I'm ever asking anybody. Think for yourself. I'm not taking numbers from Instagram. I'm not taking numbers from Twitter. I'm definitely not taking numbers from Hamas's or Qatar numbers that they're putting out there on their own Iranian platforms, putting everything out there. I'm not taking anything from Al Jazeera. I'm just not interested in going from very biased sources or direct sources, being that it's Hamas on Twitter. I'm not interested. I'm really not. So that's, I
And
just thought it was something really positive to share with you about, like, we could deep dive, and it's not positive. It's fucking war. There's nothing positive about
I was
this.
about to be like positive, like
It's more so of like, math doesn't lie.
no,
And I
it
don't
doesn't.
care. It doesn't agree with you. Math is really fuck your
I think a
feelings.
better
Math
way to
does not
put it
care.
is we're putting out context that matters. And
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
think that that's what matters here is we need to start focusing more on the data and less on the feelings.
Right.
And that's what this does. And that's why I was willing to talk about it, because as I read the article, it was like, okay, this actually makes a hell of a lot of sense. And
Yeah.
just for our podcast listeners, and by the way, our downloads have been skyrocketing, so thank you everybody who is downloading off iTunes and Spotify and all those platforms.
Keep it up. Like, subscribe,
Yes,
hit
please.
the notification.
Thank
We're here
you.
with you. We are
Yep.
walking amongst the people. Let's go.
And for those of you who might be interested in this article, it's on tabletmag.com. The title is How the Gaza Ministry of Health Fakes Casualty Numbers, and it's by Abraham Weiner, Wyner. So if you want to read this, Isaiah.
Show them the credentials that you have.
Oh, do I have? Is that what I have on? Oh, I
it's on the
actually
bottom.
do.
Yeah, it tells you who it is.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me go
It's
down.
at the very end. It shows you he's accredited professor.
There we go.
Mathematician.
Abraham Weiner
and
is a professor of statistics and data science at the Wharton School, excuse me, of the University of Pennsylvania, and faculty co-director of the Wharton Sports Analytics and Business Initiative. So yeah, sounds like a dude that probably knows what he's doing.
knows a little something about math. So it's something to just look
And that's
into.
And that's what I liked about this article, man. That really is what I liked about it. It had numbers, and I think you and I are very similar in that way. That if somebody shows us data that makes sense, and it's like, okay, or data that doesn't make sense in this case,
that makes you question. That just makes you question.
But it's a healthy question, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let's not, even when the president of the United States and the Pentagon are using these numbers and then trying to backpedal a little bit,
right?
Even the president can fall to this. I think that's what I took from it, is that, wow, these numbers are probably off, and we're making decisions, monetary decisions, based off of those numbers. We're making weapon sale decisions based off of those numbers.
Correct.
So that's what I meant in the very beginning, when I like that this is a big deal, because if it ends up coming back that these numbers are so far off and we were using those to justify what we were doing,
right?
Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
And and we may never know, because look at all
I don't think we will.
Actually happened. No, there's so much that we're not going to know from this, and that's the part. But this is just a small chunk of showing you how it started, and then when the data stopped being collected. And then it's like, well, if the data stopped being collected, how are we just coming up with numbers? So that's the thing that really puts it in context of what we're looking at here. But there was also something that you touched on that was one of those things of, like, when I hear news sources talking about the Ministry of Health, this is what they're putting out there. It's Hamas. And I vividly remember listening to the progression of them stating, well, Hamas Ministry of Health is stating these numbers. And then at some point there was a shift. And if you go back just a month, go back a week, go back to a day ago, and just look at how they talk about it, you see that their language changes on this.
Yeah.
So and even the White House used to say Hamas Ministry of Health. Now they're like the Ministry of Health, Gaza Ministry of Health, and it's like, okay, but it's still Hamas's. They're still in control.
It's almost like whitewashing it a little bit, yeah.
Almost like whitewashing it. You're absolutely right about that. And even with the UNRWA, looking at how everything has to be put on display. That I do feel bad for Israel in the only context that they are. Yes, they have the weaponry. They are literally going in there with bulldozers.
Yeah.
But they're losing the war when it comes to the dialogue, and that's the thing that is really happening right now that we're witnessing firsthand.
Well, and it may be the same thing, but I think they're definitely losing the public perception war.
Yeah.
They're losing support by the day, and we're starting to see why. Yep. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with looking at data and going, okay, and I hate to say it, but mistakes happen even in times of war.
Right.
So, but what is the measure of a good leader is somebody who can step back and say, you know what? Okay, we see what the problem is here now. Let's readjust what we're doing. Let's step back and see what we need to do now. And I think that's where we're headed. I think that's kind of where we are, actually. I think Biden is going to have to step back and say, okay, what's real, what's not. Let's try to figure out what these real numbers are. Get a better guesstimate of what the numbers are, because clearly we've been getting spoon-fed some BS.
100%. 100%. Yeah. So something to check out, guys. Look into it.
Definitely. Please go check out that article.
As I always like to say, stay woke. And I don't mean that bullshit that's whitewashed by your favorite conservatives. No, that black shit, stay woke, pay attention, educate yourself.
Amen. And a shout out to my boy Conscious Lee. What is it? Education is elevation. I always love his saying. I love that. So shout out to. He got
some taglines. He got some taglines.
Yeah, he does, man. But I wouldn't debate him. You want to talk about somebody I wouldn't debate? Conscious Lee. Nope. Only thing I'm doing with him is sitting down and having a friendly conversation of whatever the hell he agrees with.
I mean, all I'm saying is you ain't moving no mic on his ass. I'm gonna tell you right now. You ain't doing
Nope. I think he'd have me backing up from the camera. So no, but shout out to him, man. So let's move on to probably more juicy information for my followers and our listeners. More than 500 New Yorkers will be reporting for jury duty for Trump's first trial starting Monday, April 15th. Brother, what is the feeling around
the making?
Like, I want to know, is there some kind of something in the air in New York City right now? Like everybody,
New York's calm. No,
is it really?
Calm. New York is calm.
They're probably sleeping a hell of a lot better than Trump.
This is calm before the storm, bro. This is what this is. This is everybody's like, this is the last weekend before America officially makes history. That's what this is. This is, you know what? Go ahead, kiss your kids, kiss your wife, enjoy your weekend, cause starting Monday, 500 of you motherfuckers is about to show up to court for jury duty, and y'all know what you're there for.
Yeah, that's what this is. You're gonna be there for a little bit.
And you won't be there for a minute.
For those,
and he will be there for this. He will be sitting there, and if you show up for jury duty, that's your ass looking at.
Are they televising it?
No.
Are they televising
it? No.
Man, this should have been like the OJ trial. They should be.
Nah, playa. They only like to milk black people on TV, not white people.
Oh, fuck! I wish that weren't true. Yeah.
Tap dance for me, brother. Tap dance.
I was about to say nothing to say here. Nothing to say here.
I told you. I wore this short for a purpose. I really did.
I wore black for the funeral, but it's all good.
Oh man.
But just for those, because I know that it's getting a little difficult to keep up with. Was it the $440 million judgment? Was it the $80 million sexual abuse judgment? So this one is the 34 felony charges in Manhattan court case that we're going to be doing. So
we're going back to 2016 when we're talking about campaign financing laws that were broken and some other stuff, because they're talking about catch and kill. There's some people getting lined up on this one. So this is the hush money.
This is, and like you said, I think this will be the House of Cards. This possibly will be the House of Cards.
This is a felony.
Well, I mean, it's 34 of them. So how many can he dodge? Bro, he's playing dodgeball right now. But let me ask you this one, though. How difficult do you think it will be, or do you think it'll even be possible for them to find 12 unbiased jurors?
This is New York, so it's going to be unbiased. It's going to be raw. They're going to tell you what they think. I just did jury duty a couple months ago. It was a very interesting process to go through here in Brooklyn. And what I can say to you is that don't get it twisted. People did vote for him out here. So there's going to be a nice mixed bag. There's going to be a mixed bag.
That's true. You're right.
There is going to be a mixed bag. It's just specifically what he's looking for, right? He wants somebody who could be sympathetic to. He wants more of a male individual, more than woman for this. Because, it really is hard to paint a picture of Well, I slept with this porn star while my wife was pregnant. Like it's, you already know you're tugging on the heartstrings on that one. So, they even said that they're looking for like,
they want an all male jury.
They want an all male jury. They want, they even said they want like more firefighter, more police, more things that he could be sympathetic to. And, which I thought was kind of weird that it was the people that were protect and serve. That's who we're running for.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. We'll see. The thing is that he's trying to muck up a lot of water so then that he can get all this stuff tossed out. But right now with the gag order and everything that's going on, I think you might be able to find something solid out here. It's going to be a minute, and they have enough questions to really try to pinpoint people who could be as close as possible to unbiased, right?
Yeah.
No, it just takes one.
You make really good points, and yeah, I think it'll definitely be a difficult, for the lawyers to find their people. But yeah, you made really good points. I'm sure they'll be able to find at least 12. That they can put up there with some alternates.
I mean, 500 is showing up, and if they can't find 12, they're gonna just find another 500 to go through and piece that together. It's just gonna be prolonged.
Glenn makes a good point too. Do you think it would matter if it was anywhere else? I mean, I think the jury bias he'd be dealing with would be pretty equal no matter where he went. It's pretty, cut and dry across the country. You either hate this dude or you don't.
Well, here's the thing. I don't hate Trump. I hate the system that made him. Do you know what I mean? Like, I hate that
both.
I don't give a fuck for him. I mean, for me to passionately hate this individual, like I don't have that. I don't have the capacity. I don't.
Yeah,
I really don't. You know what I mean? Bro, you move the mic on folks. Okay, that's what I'm telling you right now. That's ingrained in my. If I ever see you move that mic, I'm telling you on this show, we gonna have problems.
People need to understand what it was like growing up in Detroit. And Royal Oak back in the day.
All I need is one mic, and that shit got moved. That's the way
Oh shit!
It's no, but I think could you do this in Florida? I don't know. Could you do this in Michigan?
I think you'd have a lot better chance in Florida.
I mean, the judge is already in his pocket in Florida, so I don't know.
Yeah,
but at the same time, that's a new judge, where a judge who has actually a actual resume, right? Some wins and some losses under their belt, of meaning that they've really dealt with some real shit that this country.
Who, Judge Cannon?
Judge Cannon has none. She's new to the game.
Yeah,
and she's picked by him. But I'm saying like the judges that are there, that they were there for the all of the appeals, right? The appeals court.
Oh, okay.
They were Republican judges, and they were like, no, this is some bullshit. Like they actually had. Excuse me, they had the knowledge of and they were literate in law.
Yeah, they had bullet points. It wasn't vague, statements. It was here's what was going. Yeah, here's what the deal is. Here's what we used. Here's what we based our decisions off of.
And this judge, he has his shit together. He's like, no, I will listen to your argument. You've tried 3 times in a row this week, and you got struck down 3 times, sometimes within 20 minutes, because I looked at the merits of you trying to get out of this case, and it no, sorry, but good try, And
yeah, right, good try. We like it. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll put that up. So Borg said, that's wild. He's been awful, meaning Trump, sleazy and manipulative for decades. He's delayed these trials for too long while crying like a child. Like he's so lucky Biden doesn't do Putin-like things to him. I keep telling folks, if we're going to have this presidential immunity, let's kick this shit in gear and let's get it started.
Kind of prolonged, because you already know Dark Brennan's coming for that lunch, boy. He'd be like, all right, you said I can kill a president, opponent? It's like, okay.
while eating dinner.
Y'all ever see a drone strike? Bam.
Yeah. And new beachfront property down in Florida has been now available.
God, can you imagine?
I'm sorry, the feds would take it over.
I'll tell you right now. No. Fox News.
Turn Mar-a-Lago into a federal prison. Just fence it in and send everybody there.
Can you imagine what they do? They just build a fence and they just send it to there.
Yeah, right.
That'd be so good.
Just come on, guys. Just keep coming. Keep coming. Nope. Just right through that fence over there. Right through that door. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not debating that he's not a piece of shit. I just don't hate him. I don't care. Maybe I'm just like, fuck him. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, no, I hate the motherfucker. I really do. Like, I can honestly say I hate that dude.
What I hate
And
is the system that is literally perpetually picking him up and putting him on a pedestal. That's
well, I
what I
mean,
hate.
the system. I definitely hate that as well. Like I said, I can do both.
Like you and I would never get these chances. You and I, for anything
No,
that we've done, we would
no,
have been locked up. We'd have been waiting. That's where
we
it
didn't
went.
start life with the right bank accounts
Yeah.
and the right influence. So, that's the kicker for me is everybody thinks this dude's so freaking successful. It's like he isn't. He's
Right.
being kept afloat by people because they can't afford for him to fail.
So many people. Which I wanted to ask you, what is the update with that 175 bond that you and I have been dying laughing about? Because now my
Last
man's
I
being
read,
looked-
the 10 days is come and gone, and
it
they
didn't go
didn't
through.
post it.
It
No,
didn't go through. It got kickback saying, look, you can't even show these
the
numbers.
yeah, the
You can't even
company
show that you have this.
nope. So I'm pretty sure that they're able to start. I think the judge has to give them permission, but I think it's coming.
So this is look, I'm just gonna say this to you right now. Let's just take a step back, you and I.
Okay.
and I watched you lose your shit a couple weeks back when you're like, this motherfucker keeps getting all these chances. It's like, look, man, I'm telling you, Ryan, take a step back, and we're gonna do it right now. They gave him a chance. They said, okay, we're gonna cut that $500 million down to 175. Post that money. Let's see what you got. He
Can't
apparently
do it.
got that money. And then they were like, nah, that shit doesn't count. Let's see some real actual money. Let's go. So they gave you a chance, right? They gave you a chance, and you
Yep.
fucked that up. So here you go. Because now when they say, well, they're mistreating him, they gave you chances. They gave you tons of chances.
More
You had
chances
your
other
pump and
than
dump.
most would get.
You had your pump and dump scheme. That shit is starting to crash hard.
Hard. $30
Hard.
when I looked today.
Bro, like we're talking, that's losing. He's
Do
losing.
you want to look it
billions.
up right now? You want to look it
You
up
can
right
look it
now?
up. He's losing
Let's
billions. Okay.
Go
Then
ahead,
you're
keep
talking
talking.
about also these cases right now where he is taken an L left and right, and now he's about to sit and be on trial. And people said that if he is found guilty, I'm not getting ahead of myself, but if he is found guilty of this, there is a number of middle ground conservatives and a number of other constituents who are like, I can't vote for him. If he is found guilty, I will not vote for him. So you're seeing already his numbers now trail behind Biden, where he was leading Biden just a month ago, 2 months ago. So it's in a room of error, but at the same time, you're looking at it, you're like, Biden's rising again. So here we go. Look at this, 32.
Look at that
This
dip.
is
Bunch of people made some money right there. Ooh, yeah.
I'm telling you right now. And then you look at the other end, and it's like, and that's where
So,
Russia bought
This
back
is 5 days.
in. Shit.
That's 5 days.
Yeah.
So, like me, my heart attack would have happened right about there.
That's why I would have screamed.
Yeah, that's where I would have been done.
6 months before he can actually pull any money out of this shit.
I'd have been throwing ketchup, mayo, relish, everything. I'd have
All
been
at the
throwing it
wall.
all.
All at the wall. My staff
Yep,
cleaned it
broken
up.
plates, and then down here, right about there. Yeah, that's where I would have driven my car off a cliff,
Oh my god, man.
and that's where I'd be in the ground in the span of 5 days.
Ridiculous.
Wait,
Just
let's
losing.
look at three. Let's look at. I mean, it's only. Let's see. What was the highest? So it's
It was
saying the
roughly
highest.
around 72.
Yeah, high. It says high 71.93. Open was 70. It closed at 66 on 327. So that was the highest ever.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's just been woo.
You know, I have a friend. He was like, Ian, I jumped in. I was about to make some money. I said, bro, you just be careful with that shit. Like, I get it if you want to short it.
For real.
I get it. But I was
Yeah,
like,
if you know how to do that, cool. Do that. Right.
this one is a little too toxic. I go,
I agree with you actually.
because you
it's
can't
too volatile.
It's way too volatile. When you look at it, how volatile it is to everything else, Tesla, Apple, everything, it is leaps and bounds ahead of it. And it's just like, nah, son, I'm not interested. I don't have, again, the capacity for this dude. I'm not interested.
No.
There's nothing get rich about him that I'm interested in being a part of.
And exactly. I think what you just said is the best way to say it. I just don't want to play a part. Even if I could make money off of Trump, I still wouldn't do it.
What up, Mike Swell? I see you, brother.
I guess
Welcome
that's
to the
technically
crew.
not true. I think technically I make money off of Trump every day posting about him, but
Absolutely.
but I would never do business with him, and I would never buy into any type of business that he is a part of. Because if he's a part of it, it's bound to get sucked dry.
Oh no, it's when you talk about Midas touch with the golden. This is the man of shit. Like anything he touches
What's up,
goes
Mike?
to shit. So yeah, Mike, welcome to the crew, man. Jeffrey, you ain't missed nothing, Jeffrey. We're just talking world peace. Presidents that are facing a trial. Nothing.
Glenn, yeah, Glenn, I actually really like what you said here. Glenn says, I feel for any non-MAGA folks that are losing money in it. The people I feel sorry for are the ones that, have their money in investment firms, and those investment firms went out and bought into this crap because they're stupid, or they got talked into it by some backdoor deal.
Only if they're a scam also. Everybody who is about that, about numbers, again, data, math, it doesn't make sense. When you were looking at how much they were making versus losing, and you're like, why is this?
Yeah, there's no money. There's no money coming in.
There's no money, none. And it's just one of those things. So it's,
So I think a better way to put it is, if you have a financial advisor, I would ask them that question. How much of my money did you put into Trump Media and Technology Group?
Nah, player.
And if they put in any, pull your fucking money out and move it somewhere else.
Get somebody new, because that shit is no, it is a nosedive. Absolutely.
And here's another piece of probably the best investment advice I ever got: index funds. Index funds are your friends, because.
And this is not financial advice from Ryan and Ian, but we are just saying
it's not paid financial advice. It's just it's just some advice that I got that has served me well over the last 5-10 years. And because if you're indexing everything, like, you can literally go out and buy every stock in the NASDAQ. Yeah. You can literally go out and buy every stock in the Dow Jones. So it's like, okay, well, if the Dow Jones does really well that year, and you've got a bunch of index funds with the Dow Jones, guess what? You do really well that year.
You did good.
So it's like it's a really good way to keep up with, to just really diversify what you're doing and spread it across a lot of companies instead of trying to pick stocks. Right. I'm not a stock picker. I tried it; it didn't go well. So index funds was more my speed, because it's like, okay, now I'm buying a ton of stocks with just, one share of this index fund.
Right.
So to me, it's like, cool. That's the better place for me to put my money, because
safer.
Yeah, it's safer. Investing is like going to Vegas still, but if you're gonna do it, I think index funds is one of the better ways to go.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And again, that was not paid for by anybody, and is not. If you lose all your money, I'm not responsible whatsoever.
Right.
I did not mention once.
It's not financial advice.
Yeah, it's not financial advice. I'm just saying it served me well. Go find index funds that you like or that you think are good.
Find shit that works for you.
But don't buy this shit. I do feel comfortable saying that. Don't buy this shit. That is financial advice.
If you like to buy green and sell red, then this DJT is for you. That's what it is.
You know what? Somebody that does this that I interact with on Twitter said that the fees to short the stock are so high that it's not even worth doing.
No, this whole thing is toxic.
So I don't know, and again, it sounded accurate. It sounded like something that was legit. So, and this dude usually has some solid information. So
no, this whole thing is just it's
utilities too. Utilities too. Yeah, my dad used to say that same thing.
Jeffrey, you have a solid
smart.
Point. Jeffrey, you have a solid point. Checking in, he says, anyone seen the recent video of Trump at the Chick-fil-A in Atlanta? Look, Jeffrey, this is the best thing about Trump. He watches this show, and he knew we were roasting his ass for having AI friends, black friends. So he had to stage a blaxploitation movie, pretty much, at a Chick-fil-A. So here we are, and they out there. There's a lot of Tim Scotts. And the gentleman that you had yesterday,
Joey Marino.
I'm sure he has one black friend, and I'm sure it's Candace Owens, like most of them. And it's one of those things that I sit here and I go, just because your one black friend is like Tim Scott, that also is not a monolith. That does not speak for all black people, and that's one big thing. And I know that there is a movement of black men who are going to vote for Trump that they're talking about.
Seriously?
There's a movement. There's a real movement that is happening.
Lord.
But the thing that they can't break a black woman's vote. And the one thing that is quite telling is seeing what happened here in Arizona with 1864's laws being kicked in. I just wonder to all my brothers out there, what if some 1864 laws passing some shit on us?
So my question to you is, did you hear that this was a staged event at the Chick-fil-A and that the viral woman is actually a MAGA operative that has worked for the GOP for
Well,
years?
we already know this. We already know. I said they're filming.
Like, you think, how many, okay, and I go to Chick-fil-A because my kids love the freaking nuggets. And if you have kids, the political shit goes to the side when they're hungry. So
Right.
don't judge me.
Right.
But if you've gone to a Chick-fil-A, let me ask you this. How many fucking black people have you seen working back there?
Oh, bro, come on.
And I won't even limit it to black folks. How many people of color have you seen working behind?
We know it. We know what that establishment is.
I mean, we got one in Tucson. There's one black woman and two brown women, and that's it. The rest, white as snow.
That's the problem with Tucson, though.
Well, I mean,
I'm just kidding.
we're pretty diverse here, really.
I'm just kidding. Hey, man, you're the one creating most of the diversity of that motherfucker.
We trying, baby. We trying.
He said, "We don't die, we multiply." Like, oh shit.
We Bebe's kids.
Thank you. And that's why I know you got the black card.
I was
never
giving it at a
questioned
young
it.
age, sir.
I never questioned it. My man straight up quoted, "If you don't know that movie, you're about to find out. Are you about to learn today?
Go watch it. We don't die. We
Multiply.
multiply.
We baby. Oh yeah, he did that. Multiply. He got him. But no, I mean that's also, you got to look at that establishment. You know, the whole religious movement, the whole anti LGBTQ. You know, just Chick-fil-A is yes, that shit is tasty. That shit is also just a trash organization, plain and simple. No,
yeah, 100%.
But it is what it is, man.
Yeah.
So plan on seeing more black events. You know, and I've always said this: Blacks for Trump is a amazing organization that is completely paid for by bullshit, and it's it's the same kind of movement that's like Jews for Peace. It's just something that's there that is to create, to stir up. It just is.
Well, and it's besides the laughable fact that it was a setup, which most people assumed before we knew for sure.
AI wasn't working for them.
No, and that's the thing. It was like, oh, AI didn't work. Sorry, sir.
They're like, I'm sorry, Trump.
You're actually going to have to go out and mingle with the peasants.
I'm going to need you to eat some chicken.
We'll bring some hand sanitizer and a new suit. Don't worry.
But they choose the chicken spot. I'm surprised they didn't have watermelon.
Dude, thank you, bro. That was the first thing I posted. I was like, really? Y'all went to the chicken spot? I was like, and then you share it everywhere. Like, oh my God, look, he has a few black friends. And I'm like, stop acting like you motherfuckers were at Popeyes.
It's so good, man. It's so good.
Like,
it's so good. Hey, man, that's too much
saying?
spice. That's too much spice, Popeyes. I can't handle it.
Exactly. He's got to go somewhere where you got to add the spice yourself if you want some.
Man, I told you. Come to the Shead Show. We got spice here.
Oh, we did. We got some spice. I'm still feeling froggy.
Bro, ribbit.
So I want to move on, though, to the Arizona Supreme Court. And I have a feeling we're probably going to talk about this one for a minute, especially because me being from Arizona, it's been a particular kick in the gut. Simply, you guys hear me talk about my kids all the time and my daughter.
Well, I want to ask you this.
Yeah,
please.
On
a human level, okay? Because one of the biggest things I hate is I hate men talking about this.
Really?
It was cringeworthy to watch you two talk about it, because I was like, I want the female perspective. I want to hear what women honestly feel right now in America. And once again, I'm like, sorry to take a shot at you, Ryan. Here's two white men talking about women's bodies. And I go, this is the shit that I want to see, where the diversity, DEI, kicks in, and now you have women on the topic that are actually there. Like, I wish a woman was there, like Kaylin. I wish Kaylin was on the mic talking to this man about his shit. Hey, love Kaylin. I'm saying I would love to see how she just could put something on the mic with him, and then him have to face his consequences, looking at what that effect is, right? To look at what his words were. Right. But that's just yesterday's conversation. My question to you, as a father, how do you feel, minus anger, how do you feel looking at your daughter every day right now, looking at the world that is around her?
I mean, first off, I don't know how you can separate anger from that question. I feel angry.
That's one emotion. That's one emotion. That's
I mean,
one. And I saw that yesterday. But I'm saying, what else is there?
I mean, what do you want to talk about from an intellectual standpoint and people, legislating, our daughter's rights away and kicking it back to the states? Like, that's the thing. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it depends on what
argument. It's a bullshit.
Well, I'm not done. First off, I'm not. That's
not yours. Not yours. I'm saying, it's states' rights, states' choice, and then.
Well, yeah, that's a bullshit argument. Yeah,
it's a bullshit argument.
But I think more men do need to stand up, and I think more men need to challenge other men and say, "Look, dude, you're full of shit." Like, I'm not trying to speak for women. I definitely have no idea, and the only assumption I can make is, I've had conversations with my wife about it, how she feels, and that's about it. And of course, friends and stuff, we've talked about it, but again, I can't speak for any of them. All I can do is speak for what I think is right and speak for the one person in my life right now who can't speak for herself, and that's my daughter.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, I've started talking to her about this because she's started asking questions about, she'll overhear you and I on the phone, or, she just hears what I'm doing, making videos. And so she started asking questions, and she started asking me about, she said, "Hey, what's going on in Arizona with the Supreme Court?" And I said, they're trying to control decisions that you might or might not make with your body.
Right.
And she asked for a little more, and I gave her a little more, and she looked at me, she's like, "Dad, I'm not okay with that." And I was like, "I'm not okay with it either, honey." I said, "And that's part of what I do every day." And it was just really interesting to see her honest, an honest reaction from somebody who hasn't been tainted by the outside world so much yet,
Yeah. But see, this is what I'm asking you, because this is right here. You're giving me a more raw.
The fuel. Emotion. Well, I'm giving you the fuel. What drives me?
Because I understand the anger. I'm with you on the anger. Yeah. I'm pissed. I am pissed. But I'm asking in that context of, like, as a father, the softer side of this. How do you caress someone so close to you that you already see that she's damned? You know what I mean, in this situation. And it's like, and that's the part that I'm asking for you to touch on, because we saw your anger yesterday. You know what I mean? And I appreciate you sharing with us this intimate moment between you and your daughter. Because that's something I think that we need to start being honest about too. How do fathers talk to their daughters about this?
I don't know how to answer that, because I feel like a lot of what I do is done through fear.
Yeah.
Like a fear I carry around. And, when you ask, how do you embrace somebody that is going to have to go through these things, but has no idea yet of how hard it's going to be and how much pushback she's going to get.
Yeah.
It's difficult as a father to feel like you're sitting on the sidelines and that all you can do is hug her and tell her it will be okay when you aren't sure if it's going to be okay. When you aren't sure what the outcome of this fight is going to be. And that's tough, not just as a father, but as a man. As men, we want to fix things. Right. That's our inherent nature. And when we can't fix something that we know is affecting somebody that we love or people that we love, it eats at us. It eats at me. And, it's like having the tools, having the information, knowing that I can fix the problem, but still not being able to. That's what it feels like.
And Ryan, I thank you. Thank you I really appreciate you being honest and being open on this between you and I, because this dialogue right here, it just goes to show you, and this is for the viewers, because, usually you and I, we just talk like no one's around. But this right here, it shows me that, like, it shows the gravity behind your words yesterday. And I feel like you just gave it so much more. So for those who are just chiming in, Ryan had a conversation yesterday, and it definitely, he let some folks know where he stood. And it's one of those things where, yes, we can see the anger, and yes, we love the passion. But right here, it shows you what you're fighting for. And that right there was articulated so much more than letting somebody know that they have crossed the line. And that's why I appreciate you opening up about that, because now you're just given so much more, and you really have humanized just this one experience. And now just think about how many other families are going through this, where they have to have that dialogue with their child, and hopefully, in a situation where they're not past the point of no return, right?
Yeah.
So this is being. I love watching you lead, and and you're giving a lot of hope to a lot of us fathers trying to be better men for our kids.
Well, I appreciate that. And, it's all jokes aside, when Joey made the comment, hopefully you'll raise your daughter not to need an abortion. I think what I just did is doing that.
Yeah.
Having that conversation, and you have to start at a young age. I think back to the shit I was doing at 12, 13, 14, and I'm like, yeah, I need to start having these conversations with her now.
Yeah.
And that's just a reality. Whether I'm ready for it or not, that's just where we're at now. And so, it's okay. I think, again, the measure of any person, and especially a man, is, being able to take a comment like that and sleep on it, and then say, okay, what am I doing to make sure that doesn't happen? What am I doing to make sure my daughter knows what her rights are, who's trying to take them from her, what she can do for herself, make sure she doesn't need to be dependent on anybody else. Just those kind of things. What are you going to do as a father to make sure that you raise a young woman that doesn't need anybody and is going to be able to make the right choices for herself medically?
Right. And that's what we're fighting for. We're fighting for her to have that choice, period, whatever that is.
Sure is what I'm fighting for.
And I told you, here in New York, I got protested. My wife got protested for getting a DNC. Here we are with removing a dead fetus, and it's just like, here's my wife, heartbroken as can be. How can we not be? And I'm just making sure she's okay. And here I am being protested, being told by this person that, I have a choice. And I'm just like, you're telling me I have a choice as you're protesting, telling me that I shouldn't be doing this.
And you have no idea what
I'm doing. You have no idea why I'm here. Like zero, and it's like, get the fuck away from me. You know what I mean? And that's, so I understand the anger. I fully understand the anger.
Yeah.
And this is the thing about these conservatives. They don't consider a DNC an abortion. They go off with that bullshit, which, listening to him talk about some random fucking Democrat governor who had one comment. Okay. All right.
And it was out of context, of course. It was a comment made about one particular person, and yeah.
Which in the end of it, it's like, the party that is live and let live can't. They have to control. And
the small government sure likes to control people.
Oh my God. Well, we know certain topics about that one.
Oh, Missy said, "Thank you for being such great dads and keeping the dialogue up with your daughters." That's awesome. I appreciate that.
Appreciate you, Missy. Appreciate you.
Yep.
And good citizens, welcome to the crew. Welcome to talking on this chat.
Yeah, I was just looking at his good citizen. I keep forgetting to watch on here where the chat is full of people I actually follow on X. Oh, you mean on YouTube? Yeah, I know. I keep trying to get people to come over to the YouTube from Twitter, but yeah, if you guys are watching on Twitter, go over to YouTube. All the fun people are over there. All the fun people are in the comment section over there. I get to see we get to see them all on our end, but I know because we're streaming to 4 different platforms, you guys don't all get to see each other's comments. So that's why we tend to put them up so that everybody 100%. Gets to see. Yeah. So, but if you want to go see and play with everybody in the comment sections, then you got to go over to YouTube.
Right.
So I do want to keep talking about this and actually talk about what is happening and some of the background behind this bill and what the Arizona Supreme Court's done. So what the Supreme Court basically ruled is that this is a 160-year-old near total abortion ban, and they have now ruled that it is enforceable. Now, the one good thing is that AG Chris Mays, who is a Democrat, has come out and publicly said, and she said it that day, pretty much as soon as they announced it, that she will not enforce this. She will not prosecute doctors. She will not prosecute nurses, and she sure as hell will not prosecute mothers. Mm-hmm. So, which is great, but I want to remind everybody of this one small problem with that. That doesn't change the law. And the minute that Chris Mays is voted out, which hopefully that, is not for, she is in there as long as she wants to be.
That's a temp fix. It's a temp
It's
fix.
a temp fix.
Not
Yeah,
anything.
exactly. Like, props to Chris Mays. Thank you for
Yeah.
being willing to do that. But
That's a Band-Aid on the Titanic. Let's go.
Amen, brother. It is a freaking Band-Aid.
And this is all hands on deck. And Ryan, I feel like this is now going to be a sinking ship for the Republican Party.
I think they see it too. If the response that I'm seeing on social media the last day or two has been anything, even Donald Trump has come out to backpedal.
Like they don't know anything about it. They're like, who? Wait, what?
They're like, oh, we don't agree with this. Right? Like to see.
We didn't ask for that.
Yeah, to see them even backtracking, it was like. But you know what it reminds me of, honestly? That's the Republican and the Trump way of doing things. It's like, let's push this out and see what the response is and see if we get away with it. And if we don't, we'll just pull it back.
It was just a joke.
Yeah,
it was just a joke.
Just a joke, or we didn't mean that, or however they dress it up.
That's what your boy said yesterday. It's just a joke.
Right, but I feel like that's what this was too. It was like, well, let's push this out and let's set the precedent. And let's see what the response was. And when the response was a resounding "fuck you," they were like, "Oh, let's back up."
Oh no, this is fuck around and found out. This is what this is.
And I think they just lost the election.
This right here.
They lost. I bet you they lost 70% of the woman vote.
They lost the swing state, which they needed.
Yes.
Because now they just made this race even harder, and now your boy's about to go face a jury of his peers here in New York.
There's going to be two red states that are going to be solid purple. That are going to be a solid purple this turn.
And keep in mind, Ohio passed protection for women, and then they tried to veto it. So they're playing this game. They're playing this game in the courts, guys. They're really playing this game in the courts, and you need to pay attention on not just who the president is. The president doesn't mean anything on the grand scheme of things. Let's be honest.
He's the figurehead.
He's the figurehead. He's the talk. He is the figurehead. Yep. You need to make sure you understand down ballot who is going to be your senators, who's going to be running your courts, who's going to be running your kid's school board. You need to make sure that you show up for every single election, because this is how they get you, and this is what they're trying to do. This is really it. And as much as they say states' rights, and they say, well, let the people can decide. Here we are again, where now it's going into court. It's being passed by Supreme Court, and it could end up right back on the Supreme Court again, you know. And so here we're playing this game, and I really do wonder what happened 50 years ago at the Supreme Court. How many times did we play this game before they were like, let's just do national Roe v. Wade, boom, let's be done with this? Like, because how many times did it keep coming back up? And look how it is. It keeps coming back up, and it's a minority. That's the part that is terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a majority. There's no way that this is a majority opinion in the United States right now.
No.
That is very evident.
And if they have the power, they will then bend over backwards to keep their constituents, which are these religious fascists that's really kind of becoming, that are really you're going to start looking at Netanyahu and his far right. You're going to start making dumbass decisions because you're trying to keep into power. That's what's going to happen. And there will be a national ban. And that's the thing that I think we need to hit home, is that this is just a taste of it. Yeah. And the fact that it's such a old law that has never been repealed, never been course corrected. Never. Not in the 1920s, 1930s, 1940s, 1950s, until Roe v. Wade. And it's like, that still didn't fix it.
And I want people to understand what this is carrying. So right now, the way this law sits, which is on a 14-day waiting period right now, so there's still a little time for them to somebody jump in and appeal this, I think, and hopefully stop it from going into effect, at least for right now. But for right now, it's a 14-day hold, so I think we're probably 8 days, 8 days now.
Brother man, this is a jolt to the system, and I will tell you
so that was so we're 2 days, so 14, 13, so we're 12 days. They got 12 more days. Yeah. The law, so right now it carries felonies 2 to 5 years in prison for not just the woman, but anybody that helps.
Anybody who has
so The law, it was codified in 1901 and again in 1913, outlaws abortion from the moment of conception, but includes an exception to save the woman's life. And a lot of people have an issue with the exception because it's extremely vague, leaving the courts to be able to say, well, that's not a justified reason.
And who are the courts who know anything about humans' rights, humans, medical makeup, anything? This is the part where it's like, this is between a doctor and a woman, plain and simple.
Yeah, their Juris Doctorate is not the same thing as a doctor.
No. The wrong people. The wrong people really, for some reason, feel like they need to have a voice, and this is not.
Oop! Did we lose you? You there? Lost your audio.
You lost my audio.
Oh, there it goes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're good now. That's all that matters.
What up, though?
What up? So,
what up, though?
Now, before we move on, I want to talk about the person that most people are giving credit for this beautiful piece of legislation. And that would be, let me see here. I want to make sure I get his name right. William Claude Jones. Now, this, I hesitate to call him a gentleman, is the reason for this. He had a 12-year-old bride, divorced her, got rid of her, ended up having a 15-year-old bride when he was 50, got rid of her and impregnated a 14-year-old, ended up having a few more babies with her before she died at 28. So while Jones lived in Arizona, he was elected to represent Tucson, where I live, in the first Arizona Territorial Legislative Assembly. And then when that legislature convened in 1864, he was elected Speaker of the House. And it was that legislature, the one Jones presided over in 1864, after he had already abandoned his first wife and married a 12-year-old and was just weeks away from marrying a 15-year-old, though still a few years away from, sorry, I got something, I messed something up here, I'm so sorry. A few years away from marrying a 14-year-old, it was the legislature that passed a law reading, every person who shall administer or cause to be administered or taken any medicinal substances, or shall use or cause to be used any instruments, whatever, with the intention to procure the miscarriage of any woman then being with child, and shall be thereof duly convicted, shall be punished by imprisonment in the territorial prison for a term not less than 2 years, no more than 5 years.
Wow.
So literally had a pedophile that made this law. And this is what we're gonna ride with in 2024.
Makes sense. You know, this is some 2024 shit though. Like,
dude,
on the bingo card.
I'm telling you, got it.
We just had the fucking the eclipse. It's like, yo, man, this is some 2024 shit. This is straight. And I'm not even trying to. We gotta laugh at some of the bullshit, but it's one of those things like, how fucking ironic is it that you have a pedophile who's making laws about, what women can do? Like, get the fuck out of here.
It is. Isn't that just peak 2024?
The comeback game is fucking real, man. It's real.
I'm telling you.
It's real.
All right, brother.
I will say to you. I will say to you though, I want to give a shout out to Kamala Harris. This VP, I think, now has found her voice. I think she has found her meaning. I think if there is anybody who needs to be leading the charge on this, it's her. It's her. There's no ands, ifs, or what's about it. She needs to take this to the jugular of every one of those sick fucks who, for one reason or another, think that this is okay.
Yeah.
And she needs to put her foot on their necks. 100%. It's time. This is her role. This is her role. We talked about how she didn't have her voice. This is her time. And I hope that she really does understand her moment in life is at this moment now.
She's definitely living the first sentence of her obituary right now. And,
100%.
And I think she knows that. And I agree with you, and I hope she does latch onto this and continue to amplify what she's doing right now, and really.
Ryan, you need to talk to her campaign about how to move that mic and let her get up on the fucking business. Okay, I'm telling you right now, bro.
Speaking of that, it is time. It is time for Feelings Friday.
Oh, is it?
So,
all of you guys, welcome to the Ryan Shed and Ian whatever show. We're still trying to figure out the name. Please help us join in, chime in. We're gonna lean on you guys to help us name what this show is all about. But what we do here on Fridays is we have the Feelings Friday segment. And for the Feelings Friday segment, which we do every Friday, we talk about those who are in their feelings. And for this week's In Your Feelings Friday is your own Ian Sherman for being in his feelings for watching that shit yesterday. Okay, I watched that episode of Ryan and his name again?
Joey.
Fill in the blank.
Joey Manorino.
Joey. Ryan, Mr. Shed, and Joey, because it really did seem like Dad sat down a punk ass kid in the classroom and went hard in the paint, letting motherfuckers know that the shit that they write online just is not okay. I swear to God, it felt like Ryan was the teacher, a professor, and he was yelling at the student in the back. Stop with your spitballs and your bullshit. Okay, would you please focus? We got data here on the chalkboard. I feel like I sat there watching a segment break out where this man said, look at your words, you idiot fuck. Okay, I really just sat there and said, this man is going to sit there and take it with a ball in his mouth and just look at Ryan and say, yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, sir. And I said, oh, hell the fuck no. There is about 7 times I thought for myself, Ryan was literally going to get up and walk off the screen and show up in this motherfucker's screen right next to him just to yell at his ass like Major Payne. I literally sat there watching this episode and I said, please tap me in. Somebody save this man. Like, I just thought a joke or something, whatever. No, there wasn't there. It was empty. My man had an empty argument and he sat there with vague statements. And I just thought, a simple piece of data would help you, sir. Something.
Just one.
No.
Just one.
Just one. Just one. No. But when you're being called a fucking idiot ass bitch numerous times.
And he didn't leave. I'd have been out, dude.
He left to get a bra out of the dog's mouth, as he stated. Okay? I sat there listening to every detail, and I thought to myself, I have some fucking feelings about this episode. Can I share a couple of those feelings?
Please do.
Some of those feelings. I don't know what else I've been doing this whole time. Some of those feelings that I have, regardless of what he talked about. Reparations. Let's talk about reparations. Reparations, it was 40 acres and a mule. Do you know how much 40 acres and a mule are today in 2023? I know it's not 2024, but 2023? If you had 40 acres and a mule, 40 acres in 1865 would equate to $168,000. $144,000. Okay? That would be in yesteryear's money. So that would be generational wealth that you talked about. Again, data. Only 2.2 million people were actually being quoted of giving that land by Sherman. Good last name. And when I tell you that, that would be about $370 billion in today's money. I know America got it. DEI. When you talk about DEI, let's talk about how AI, face generative technology, cannot work on blackface. And by that, I don't mean the racist blackface. I mean actual blackface, melanin in skin. When you talk about technology, you don't have black people in the room building it with these people for them to actually understand that they're building it for the whole globe, not just the white people that they're working on. When you talk about medical, you look at the medical aspect and how that up until 2012, there's been studies where people, nurses, doctors think black people have a higher threshold of pain, not a real function. So you'll look at black people not get the medical attention care that they need because they were under the assumption, some bias that lives rent-free in their doctor heads, that black people have thicker skin or nerve endings that just don't get affected. This shit is real. Look it up. When you look at the other thing that was there is, what else did he say to you? Oh, Twitter. When you look at the fact that Twitter just lets anybody, I know X, whatever the fuck. When you look at X, Twitter, and it just allows anybody to just say whatever the fuck is on their minds, where they don't even have any thought of conscious of who it's affecting, having empathy for any other person, but other than, oh, it was a joke. You look at how the internet is a shitty fucking place. If anybody just gave a little bit of thought of just being like, oh, okay, well, why is someone like Ryan saying what he's saying and putting this out there? Let me look into it. And then be like, I disagree with you, Ryan. And this is why I disagree with you, because this data I found was blah, blah, blah. And I don't mean alternative bullshit fucking facts. I mean actually like challenging in a debate of like, well, this is one way I think it'd be best to get there because of whatever information I found. Much like, okay, 40 acres of mule, we can talk about that. Well, how could we come up with that money? Because he said to you, my family came here in 1946. Well, my friend, your family came here in 1946. Jim Crow was still in full effect, and therefore there was sundown towns that people, much like my family, could not travel into certain towns that your family lived rent-free. And I'm sorry, you were part of the system. Yes, you were prosecuted. So were the Irish. That happened back in the day, and most likely here in New York, because we all seen Gangs of New York, and we know how that went down. When we talk about reparations for anybody in this place, we're talking about a select few, because not everybody who is here today came here back then. We're talking about those who have an actual slave certificate, like the same slave certificate I found on my great-great-great-grandfather.
Great point.
And I can actually tell you what's going on there. There is actual documentation that is there that people can show you and say, hey, this is what my family went through. Or those in, like you said, Black Wall Street. You look at all of the generational wealth that has been pulled time and time again. When you talk about the fact that Lincoln was there for the Civil War and he was like, we need to free these people. And then they said, okay, reparations. Let's talk about getting these people set up. And what was the conversation that you guys had yesterday that happened back then in 1964? It was the same conversation. White people getting upset about free black people getting theirs. And guess what happened? President Johnson said, yeah, fuck these black people. We ain't giving them shit. And he pulled the rug from underneath them. And then he actually put money back into the slave master's pockets, which then created all the generational wealth we see today. So when you talk about history, when you talk about these certain things, you have to have more than just these little blinders on about where your story started in America. And you need to think about it and how it affects not everybody, but pretty much everybody in this, because we are a melting pot. And if you could just have a little bit more empathy or openness to your neighbor and stop thinking like your neighbor is your enemy, we would be in a better place. But right now, we're playing tug of war for crumbs, because guess what? Elon Musk does not fuck with you. Donald Trump does not fuck with you. He is not your retribution. He's not there for. He cannot fucking relate to you. You are
the dude pissing and shitting in gold toilets is not the people's president.
Plain and simple. Joe Biden, as old as he is, this man rode a fucking train for all his vice presidency. He damn near would try it probably as a president. They're like, you can't do that. That shit's not safe. I wouldn't be surprised. Old man, get in the car.
You know, they're just talking real. There's no comparison between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, especially not as a father. You know, so.
Funny that they're both from the same generation, though. And look how two men turned out.
Turned out very different. Two opposite sides.
And that's all I can say. Two men of the same generation. Look how they turned out.
By the way, I'd be remiss. I don't have anything to show you, but go Google this. The woman who stole Ashley Biden's diary and other items is headed to jail. And even more interesting, she was squatting somewhere. So she was a squatter and likes to steal people's shit and is now going to jail. And again, you can Google this one. The diary pages that go around that say the shower thing, those
all the wildest shit.
Yeah, that wasn't in the diary. Right. So that shit has been debunked. She stole a bunch of stuff like her purse, memory card, clothes, all sorts of stuff. So this woman's a complete piece of shit. And of course, this is who Republicans are basing their entire fucking campaign season on. So 100%. Well done again, Republicans.
100%.
You're freaking once
and
again.
Foot in mouth. You're doing a great job. I see you guys winning.
Yep.
A lot.
But
I will say this, after Feeling Fridays, that felt like a Ryan rant, and I feel really good, so now I fully understand you. And
I was about to actually end it and say, have I introduced you to my friend Ian? This is Ian irritated.
Irritated Ian.
Irritated Ian.
But I will say it was fun to watch you unleash on an individual. I don't think you're going to get many conservatives who want to sign up for your one-off segments.
That's what.
But I will say to you, you need to time her in. I think you need to get a third voice just to be that wedge at one point or another.
I mean, she would do a space. I know. I don't know if she would do like the actual podcast, but no, Kaylin. It's funny because I text Kaylin as soon as I got done and I was instantly mad about how I ended it, and so I walked out and Jen's like, "How did it go?" And I was like, "The end."
I mean, when you flipped the table, you just said, "Fuck this shit."
Yeah, pretty much. And I said, yeah, the end could have gone better. And I text Kaylin, and that was like her first response. She's like, well, I don't think you're going to get many people to come on your show again. But.
See, Ryan, I think this is my fault. I make you look like a laughable, lovable, laughing guy. That's the problem.
Yes.
We sit here and we bullshit. We talk about some serious shit, but you'll sit there and you'll laugh a little bit. You get the wrong individual here. You are cussing their fucking ass out. Okay? And you move, my man. Do you know that that is a very dad move where you're like, I'm going to get in your fucking space and talk to you right now, and I'm not going to I'm going to look you dead in your eyes.
I'm going to get down on your level. Yep. Let me get down on my knee and whisper this in your ear.
You done fucked up.
I'm taking your iPad. I'm taking your teddy bears. I'm taking it all.
Everything goes.
And did you see the tears starts going down their eye?
Oh my god, man.
Oh man.
So good. So that's Feeling Fridays, guys. Welcome to Feelings Friday. It was on me.
But can I ask you to repeat something that you told me last night?
Yes, sir.
You said that there was a part of that show that summed up me in one clip. Do you remember?
Yes, it is. It's at the very beginning. In the clip, Joey said he had to step away, and he stepped away because of whatever reason. I don't know if whatever. He had a dog that he had to go chase, and you started reading the comments because people chimed in immediately to this viewing, and I really was happy to see a lot of people chiming in and writing to you guys, regardless of what the banter was. But one of the patrons wrote something about talking shit about him, and you read it and you said, I'm not going to talk shit about him right now. He's not here. I'm going to wait for him to come back and then we can get into it. And I said, if that was, and I know when I told you about it yesterday, you didn't even know what I was really about to go with this when I said it to you.
No, I didn't.
And I said, if there was one quote that actually, or one moment that happened that tells anybody what they need to know about who you are as a person, you said, whatever I have to say about this person, good or bad, I'm going to wait to say it to this motherfucker to his face. And then, of course, 5 minutes later, you were moving mics out the way. All right. So you definitely held on to it. You're a very patient man. You're a very patient ass whooper. All right. You just sat there on the playground and said, nah. That man said he wanted to get one more last treat before he came out into these swings. Okay. You definitely put it on Front Street. And I appreciated it. I appreciate it because any other person would be like, yeah, man, fuck that dude, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm going to tear his ass up.
Yeah, wait till he gets back.
Wait till he gets back. It's like, no, you said, no, I'm going to wait. And it was a very patient moment where I understood that you were fully present. I understood that you were ready to go. And you were also, you weren't fucking around. It was very clear.
I had a 3-page outline. I spent
how much of it did you go through? Because you cussed his ass out through half of it. I know that wasn't written down.
I gotta be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you how everything went. This is the honest truth. So I spent all this time prepping, had the outline, and if you go back and watch it, I barely watched it, but I had seen that there's a big portion of it where there's a comment that I left up. So it's like this. So I'll put my brother's comment up. Yeah. Our dad used to talk to us like that. That's where I got it from.
Well, Patrick, I told you, I leaned back when he did the shit. I said, okay. It's like, because I know that's a
my
fight.
Dad would make me lean back too. And the tear.
Yeah.
But it was, if you go back and look, there's a comment from my friend Angry Bunny, and I put it up, and I got so involved in the show and focusing on him and keeping up with everything he was saying that I totally forgot, and I stopped looking at the comments. So it was actually Kaylin who was in there really managing most of the comments. I stopped looking. I couldn't, between producing in the show, putting up all the tweets, keeping that all straight, and I did not, and I knew it was going to be big show, but I didn't really anticipate how crazy the comment section would be. I mean, I
Right.
kind of did because I called Kaylin, and even she was like, you might need a second person.
Yeah.
And I will say I think she was probably right. So I do need to find a second person that I trust like her. But yeah, so luckily she was taking care of that. And the one really surprising thing for me was how hard it was for me to keep my emotions in check. You know, because I think I've gotten
That was
pretty
in
good.
check? That
No,
was in check?
that's what I mean. How hard it was for me to actually keep my emotions in check. Like I struggled, and I could tell by the end. You know, we talked about this on the mental health show 1 or 2 shows ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, being medicated and being bipolar, I still spin up. Like
Of course.
that doesn't go away.
No.
What you mitigate with the medication is the inability to spool back down. So that's
Right.
what being medicated does for me. It's like, yeah, I get spooled up and I get really passionate and emotional and whatever, but then I bring it right back down and I can come back to this tone of voice and we can move on to the next topic. That's me being able to manage it, and I'm good. But the point that I'd gotten to with Joey at the end was the hypocrisy between being against abortion because you're a religion and then advocating for snipers at the border to shoot innocent people.
Because they're pro-life. Right.
That
Right.
was it for me. And I
Right.
knew, and it happened instantly. I knew, and it was honestly, I had you in the back of my head. And I told Jen that last night. I said, after he said that, excuse me, after he said that, and he goes, okay, what's next? And I told Jen, I said, as soon as he said what's next, I had you in my head going, end the show, end the show,
Wrap it up,
end the
B.
show,
Wrap it up.
end the show. And that was literally what was going through my head at the time. It was just like, end the show, end the fucking show, because you're not going to bring this back down at this point.
No.
And I think it was kind of like what you said in the beginning of the show. You were not there to be the comedy, the buffer, which, like you said, that makes me look a lot softer than I think I am, or that people think I am, and it showed. You know, so I'm not going to sit here and say my emotions didn't get the better of me. They definitely did.
When you call my man bitch tits and whatever else I said.
You know, and let me say this, y'all. Let me just, you heard me at the. No, I know, but you heard me at the beginning of the show, and I said, look, he didn't know anything that I was throwing at him. He really didn't. He had no clue what I was throwing at him. So you got, like you said, you got to give the dude some credit for showing up, and on top of that, he didn't just show up once. He showed up twice. So, and I'm actually going to try to pull this up. So what happened was, people started saying, hey, why don't you do a space after like a post show? And I wasn't going to do it, but so many people started asking for it. I was like, all right. So I did the space, and it started kind of slow. But about 30 minutes in, a bunch of people started coming in. And I was like, oh, cool. So we start talking, and Joey starts popping in and out. And I'm like, okay, this is getting even more interesting. And then what happened was, there's a young kid named Noah who was pictured with Hunter Biden, Jill Biden, and Joe Biden during the Easter egg roll hunt. He happens to be a 12-year-old, and he's just amazing. So what had happened was, he contacted me the night before the show. He DM'd me, and he said, hey, if there's any way that you can ask him about this during the show, like, can you put him on the spot for me? I just want the harassment to stop. And I got some more information from him. I'm not gonna reveal any of that, but I was like, I go, what kind of harassment? What's going on? And he explained, and I was like, okay. So I put the tweets. I found the tweets that he was referencing, and I'd put them up there. What happened was, I got so emotional and pissed off that was like one of the last things on my outline. So of course I felt like I'd fucked up, because I felt like I'd let him down, and I let him down because I let my emotions get the best of me. So I was kind of in that mind space, but I went and did the space anyway. So then serendipitously, this all goes down. So Noah comes in to the space, and we're talking, and then suddenly Joey comes back in. So I get them on the space talking to each other. And this 12-year-old kid sat there and dressed Joey down in a way that I couldn't have done, and got him to remove the photos himself. And I have it right here, and I hope that it will play and that you guys can hear it. If for some reason you can't hear it, go ahead and put it in the comment section and I'll pull it down. But I really want you to hear this kid, because if you don't know who Noah is, his screen name on Twitter is Noah Was Taken, and it's spelled KNOWAWASTAKEN. Noah Was Taken. This kid is the future of the liberal movement, and I think that you'll hear why here in a second. Let's see here. Problem. Take care, Noah. Let's see. Do I gotta play it? Let's see. All right, Joey's got the mic. Go ahead, Joey. I don't hear that.
Okay, I don't hear him. I can't hear him.
What about?
What happened? I think I messed that up. I really want y'all to hear this. This kid he's something special, man. Like, I actually sent him a message and I said, hey, just tell whoever raised you that they're fucking phenomenal. And for some reason, I'm not hearing it.
And that's a beautiful thing, man, because not only were you there to take on a bully, but at the same time, you encouraged a young man to stand on his own too. And that right there is a life lesson that young man is going to start his path with, where he literally is going to sit there and be like, you know what? That felt really good standing up to a bully. And he got what he needed done. Yeah. And he's like, you know what? If I use my voice more, because I don't need to lean on anybody, I can do this myself. You taught a man how to fish. You didn't fish for him.
Man,
and that's something I can honestly encourage.
That kid taught this man a lesson, and I look forward to him teaching us many more. So
I'm wondering if Joey just needs a fucking friend, man. I'm really wondering what's going on here, because there's something that's a little off-putting about watching that unfold.
Yeah.
Just from the comments that are made via Twitter to just seeing how it's almost like he's never had dialogue with somebody ever in life before, and by that I mean you and I
actually had that.
You just toggling
it's
through
like graphics. I didn't even I could have put that up when you were talking about it, but I guess we'll just save it for the next show.
Roll them shits out, man. That shit's out. It never happened. It's not gonna happen.
But I want to real quick. So before we move on to this, I do just want to thank Joey for showing up. That is a lot more than most people would do. A lot of right-wing folks wouldn't even show up to
Joey, I was afraid to show up to this motherfucker today. All right, I'm telling you right now. Seeing how he handled that shit yesterday, I was a little afraid.
No, but so seriously, you gotta give him props for that. So appreciate it, and who knows, we may end up having another one down the line. You never freaking know. But and I do just have to say I do appreciate the fact that Joey took those tweets down, because Noah did verify that you did. So again, real men can point things out like that, so you got to give credit where it's due. So Absolutely. At least that happened, and hopefully next time Joey will think twice before posting photos of kids and using it for his agenda when he doesn't have the permission to post the photos of the kids.
Facts. Remember, we left Byron Trump out of the shit. Leave any of these kids out of it, man.
Yeah, I think he's 18 now, though. I look forward to fucking that kid's world out.
I don't give a fuck about him. I'm just saying in general.
No, you know what? Real quick before I move on, I'm going to tell you this. I'm worried about him. I'm worried about Ivanka, and I'm worried about him. They're trying to set this Trump family up for fucking decades, dude. I'm telling you.
Trying.
That's why we need to choose my words wisely.
Great job, Ryan. Great job. Love.
See, now this is what it looks like when I'm centered. Things are good.
Woosah, baby.
Woosah, baby. Woosah. Speaking of that, we have a new segment that we are going to be introducing that we want to tease to you today, and that is Stop making stupid people famous. Now this is Ian's brainchild, and I think it's going to be a very welcomed addition to our show, and I look forward to our. We don't know if it's going to be weekly or monthly, and it may just be whenever we find a good douchebag to use for it. But yeah, it will be a new segment for our show. Stop making stupid people famous. So
Here we go.
I look forward to that.
We're going to be adding it. And guys, like, subscribe, hit the notification button, because we're bringing a lot of the bullshit to your table, and we want to make sure that you can at least laugh about some of it. We want you to ponder about some of it. We want you to unravel a lot
research
of it. You know, and we're trying to push you. We're trying to push you to start thinking more about some of these topics, but at the same time, we got to be able to laugh about some of this shit too, because if we lose laughter, we lose the war. End of story.
Amen.
Now, if I'm not funny, just put that shit in the comments, and I'll see you later.
But and again, that's what makes this show work, because it's like you're the not that you can't be serious, and I think everybody that watches can tell that your intellectual level is extremely high. So it's like, it's not that you can't do that and have those conversations, but your ability to just make things funny that probably other people couldn't, and you just leave yourself shaking your head and laughing, and those are the kind of laughs I love, because it's like, that shouldn't be funny, but it is. But it is. And I love that.
Be the youngest brother. You got a lot of L's you got to take to get funny. I'll tell you right now. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I am the youngest, but I don't know. I don't think I took a lot of L's. My older brother and even my sister, they both tended to look out for me more. That's because
you guys had a staring contest.
No, I mean,
who you winked?
I don't know. I think my sister might actually win that one, but
facts. It's always the older sister. It's always the older sister.
But I think the fact that my mom left us at such a young age, and even though they were my half brother and sister, they were the ones that were around. So whenever my sister was up for the summer and my brother was always around, it was like they just always played more of a parental role, because I was so much younger than them. I'm 10 years younger than my brother, 8 years old younger than my sister. So it's like they were just always kind of looking after me and helping my dad, because he needed the help. And so yeah, we just always had more of a parental relationship that has evolved into more, definitely more of a brother sister relationship now that we've gotten older. But yeah, it was just a different relationship growing up. So they didn't, not to say they didn't torture me in their own little ways sometimes, but like, I don't have any like horrible memories of them, fucking doing anything. I mean, honestly, I have more memories of them sticking up for me and stopping shit from happening than
Patrick said,
else.
I was second dad, LOL.
He was, and I mean, you know what I mean?
Heck, bro. Gotta love a big bro. Gotta love a big bro.
You do, and and we go through our shit just like every family, but at the end of the day, he was, and it's not fair. It's not fair to ask a 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old guy, hey, I need you to take care of your 8, 9, 10-year-old brother, and he did it. He did it for 8 years. And that's part of my story. My dad was out doing his thing, my mom left, and it was just me and my brother. So that was the bond him and I had. And then my sister and I, we've actually gotten much more closer as we've gotten older. Not that we weren't always like close, but again, when you're 8, 10 years, older than your siblings, it's kind of tough to have, like, you're literally in different generations. So it's a little difficult to have that kind of relationship. But as you get older, and everybody has families, everybody's doing their thing, now you can all relate on the same playing field again. So that's when that's when my relationships with them changed, because it was like, okay, now we're kind of all in the same place. So now the relationship has shifted and changed.
I can see you in your little Scooby-Doo underwear playing Sonic, talking to your big sister, and she's like, I don't.
Mario. Actually, I did love Sonic. No, I did love Sonic. I know Sonic.
you. I know
and
you.
My
bro.
brother, not my brother, my son, He's totally into Sonic right now.
He's in Sonic. See?
Yeah, but
Genetic.
he just made me download the $69 freaking Sonic game on Nintendo.
Oh my god.
He's like, if I
love
do
it.
good on my testing, can I get this game? And I was like, you ain't gonna do good on that testing. I don't have to buy him that game. Little
You had to
fucker did
play.
good on all his testing.
You got played, man. Bamboozled.
He
got
does.
bamboozled. They know how to
He's
play the
the
game.
one. Livy's gonna be the one that gets me emotionally.
Yeah.
Dominic's gonna be the one that he's gonna be smarter than me. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be smarter than me.
I've had the pleasure of talking to that young man, and I concur.
Yeah, there's just he
Back in
has
the
this he has this old soul, but like, dude,
Yeah.
he's all about, like, when you ask him what he wants to do, I want to clean up the earth. I want to clean up. I don't like people littering. Like, that's where his head's at, man. He's just
that
like,
energy. Oh, this younger
dude, I
generation
hope so.
amazes me. This younger
Oh,
generation
dude.
amazes me.
Yeah, like I said, just between, a 12-year-old showing me how it was done yesterday and seeing our boys growing up and, my daughter growing up, it's nice. It's a nice place to be in life right now, to be able to enjoy this too. I was thinking the other day, going back to the mental health show, I wasn't always as present as I am, because I wasn't medicated for a while. So it's like, that's another one of those, you can look back and really tear yourself up about it. I wish I had been more present then. But, I tend to more focus on the fact that, hey, I got it under control and the kids were really young, and hopefully, they'll just remember the good times, and, they're not going to remember dad struggling, when they were in diapers, so I was lucky I got it under control when I did. But, it's just a reminder how important family is, and for anybody out there, I mean, if you got somebody you love that you haven't talked to in a while, give them a call.
Doesn't hurt.
Doesn't hurt.
Rid yourself the ego,
Some things can't be necessarily forgotten.
Yeah.
But we can forgive and hopefully, find a way to move forward.
Build from it, man.
Yeah. And sometimes relationships may not be the same. They may be a little different, but at least they're still there.
Right.
That's the way I look at it. So, so I got two more things, and then we're going to get into the positives. And I really don't want to spend a whole lot of time, but I do want to talk about it. Mainly because I'm going to tie this back to Michigan, actually, a little bit.
Okay.
So there was a shooting in Dallas today at a high school. So the good news is that I don't believe anybody lost their life. There was one victim and one shooter. They got the shooter, they took the shooter into custody. It was a 17-year-old student, so both people involved in this were students. And
it was white?
That part I don't know, brother.
You know how I know?
Why?
They took him alive.
Ooh.
They get Burger King?
Again, can't refute that. Yeah, I don't know that yet. I don't think it says it here in the article.
All right.
But it was a handgun that was used, so it wasn't. That was one big difference between a lot of the shootings. And of course, we can't call it a mass shooting because mass shooting is 3 people or more. So it wasn't a mass shooting, but it was a school shooting.
Okay.
So.
And I'll tell you this. This is one of the main questions that we ask in the Black community, and when we always ask. And I remember the DC sniper. We all were taking bets on that one. We were like, whoa, wait a minute. Was this a white person that does this? And when it came out to be a brown person, Muslim, we were like, we did not see that.
Your mic went out again.
Did it go out?
Oh, now you're good. Is
That's
that happening?
interesting.
Is everybody else hearing that when it goes out?
I can hear
for a
myself.
second? No, I mean, you're good.
Maybe the universe doesn't want to hear my shit.
No, I want to hear it.
it's possible. Anyways,
Fuck
in the community,
universe, I want to hear it.
What we sometimes talk about is that, if they take him alive, you're like, suspect. You know what I mean? What happens there?
Yeah,
I was thinking of Dylan Wolf. They take him to get what, McDonald's or Burger King after he killed all those people.
That was the church one, right?
That was a church one. You
Yeah,
know?
that one's and again, that's particularly disgusting. Dude goes
Yep.
into a church, sits there for an hour, listens to a Bible study, then pulls out a gun and starts killing people. Black
Yep.
people. Sorry.
Not just people. All black people. Yep. All black
Yeah.
people.
You're right. So
God-fearing people.
let me
So
ask you
yeah. So
this:
okay. So this school shooting. Yes, sir.
Do you think the fact that it was a handgun and not an AR possibly kept the body count down?
100%. That's like you asking me if he had a musket versus an 8R.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
really.
Like, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
If this one person had a AR, what are we doing?
It's just so much easier to get more people. You got an
Yeah.
8, 10, 12 round clip, unless you got one of those weird extended clips, but handgun, it's like, I don't know. That was the first thing I thought.
It's 100%. If it was a handgun, this I'm sure NRA, whatever conservative, whatever pro-life conservative tells you, that it's not the weapon, it's the person, this, that, and the third. Yes, it's this person having a handgun versus having a AR is 100% one factor of what's keeping the body count down. Another factor is that I need to know more about this story, what happened.
Yeah, definitely.
Where they got caught, how it all went down. Clearly
If it
not
was
like
a
Uvalde.
one-on-one altercation. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what that was, but it's not the intent of coming in and killing, mass people.
Multiple people, yeah.
If your intent is only to just kill one person, then yeah, a handgun is the option, apparently, for this young person's mind frame.
Very good point.
You know what I mean? So that's one thing, but at the same time, how did this go down? So if this was a one-on-one and then is that the bird? It's the bird.
No, that's actually the dog at the door.
Okay.
She's telling us to wrap it up.
I was going to say, wrap it up, B. Wrap it up.
But no,
yeah.
the Dallas Independent School District did come out and say that all students and team members were safe and accounted for after the incident, of course, but besides the two individuals, I'm assuming. So yeah, and the only reason tying that back to Michigan is the Oxford shooter's parents.
The parents.
Yeah, they got sentenced. They got sentenced to 10 years.
Yeah, because they're a piece of shit. They are a piece of shit.
Huge pieces of shit.
1 and 2.
But the precedent that also sets for future school shooters and mass shooters out there, if you go buy your kid a gun and you don't lock it up, and you ignore teachers and principals telling you your kid is drawing disturbing things, and you leave them in school to shoot people,
yeah,
you're probably going to go to prison too.
I'm going to remove one thing you said, and that's if I bought my kid a gun. If your kid finds a gun, I don't care if your kid grabs a gun. If you are not parenting your child, your ass is fucking held accountable.
Yeah.
Plain simple. Full stop. That's your child. You brought this child into the world. You, especially if you have that pro-life mentality, you better take care of that fucking kid. Plain simple. And the one thing that I didn't like about Joey's stance is that, and he didn't even touch on it, was the fact of he was so pro-life about a clump of cells, but yet couldn't sit there and stare at you and talk to you about, gun violence and children dying in elementary schools. It's like, what do we have to do to be actually pro-life in this country? If you really were about that stance, it's not just about a clump of cells. It's more than that. And so, yeah, the fact that they do not care about a child that's born the moment they're out of the womb, that's everything you need to know.
Yep.
And for this young person in Dallas, I really hope that they're getting the help they need, because this is way too young. This is way too young to be trying to figure out your problems with a pistol, with a weapon, period.
I'm telling you, man, these kids don't want to knuckle up anymore. They're
afraid to get punked. I don't know what to tell you.
Yep.
You learn a lot, though.
It's okay to lose a fight.
Hell yeah.
It's okay to get your ass whooped. But guess what? You're going to be living the next day.
I mean, look, everybody's taking an L.
I'm
still talking, though. I'm still talking, though.
Still here. Got most of my teeth.
Bro. That's everything. But yeah, it's such a tragedy, man. I hope we really can figure this thing out.
Yeah, I do too.
Gun violence in school.
Nobody should be going to school and having to worry about getting shot.
No, never.
No. So, with that said, what are your positives for the week?
That was it. Okay.
Yeah, that was a transition.
Great transition.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Always appreciate the feedback. Yeah.
I went to Cali, and I have to say I got to meet my my godson Goldie, and beautiful little boy, darker complexion than me, and has a little gold afro, and
Nice.
he got the name before the hair came in, and I love how the two
just happened to work, huh?
So well, sing so well. Cutest little guy. I'm really looking forward to the future, and I got to kick it, man. I got to kick it with 5 of my brothers, and we had a lot of siblings in my family. It's 14 of us. For those who are meeting me and learning about me in this show, 14 of us, and I'm at the bottom of that barrel. I'm number 13, and I'm the lucky number 13. I just thought about that. Oh, that's good.
Nice.
Oh, that's really good. That's good.
Wow.
That's why everybody's
just came up with that on the show. Nice.
Didn't even think about it.
Nice. Only took you 40 years. 40
Only
years.
took me 40 years. So I'm not that intelligent. I'm really not.
Oh,
so
yeah,
so what's we got to really just kick it, and we have the same dynamic like you were saying. One of my brothers is about 10 something years older than me. He used to babysit me. We're very close. Him and I, we bond over a lot of stuff. Right now we're kind of geeking over EVs and stock and crypto, and we just dork out over all this stuff. Really smart individual, really into real estate, and I'm learning a lot. He is a mentor. I really idolize the moves he's made, and we really encourage each other. It's really nice, actually.
Yeah.
We ironically talk like almost every morning, like around 7, 8 a.m. And because we're both at work or, getting to work or doing whatever. And so we'll find each other with no kids around and nothing. And it's just us. And we can just like chop it up and talk or whatever. So we got to kick it. I got to see some old folks I haven't seen in a minute. I got to see some folks I haven't seen since the pandemic, before the pandemic, because I went back out to Cali. And it was just dope. It was just the vibe was amazing. The weather not so great during this trip. The warmest day was right around when we were leaving, but it was beautiful, man.
Yeah, it was cold here too the whole time. It just got back up into the 80s here.
Yep. So the temp was whatever, but a lovely time. And I have to say to you though, the homecoming of being back and seeing my son for being gone for almost a week, that was everything. So
is that the longest you've been away?
Not the longest. No. I had to go somewhere for work that was longer, but this was any time away.
Yeah,
I feel
man.
Is so long, But what's dope is he gave me his Bluey to take with me on the trip. So I had the Bluey right next to my pillow on the nightstand. So my man was right there with me the entire time. So I don't think my wife missed me, but my son definitely missed me.
They never do.
Never do. I go, how you doing? She goes, it's very quiet here. I go, oh, okay. I can't wait to get home and fuck all that up.
Yeah, I'll mess all that up. Don't worry. Dad comes home, everything goes to shit. Everybody,
dogs barking,
Daddy's
everybody's
home. Yeah.
I go, I don't tell you, man.
And then she gets pissed off because it's like, I have to deal with all the bullshit. You come home and it's fun, Dad. It's time to play.
There it is. We play the roles, man. We play the roles. So it's all good. There was funny.
I think we fabricate those roles, but
I think we do. Well, you know what's funny? No, I will say this to you because this was like a perfect interpretation of it. Is my wife was sitting there pushing the stroller that had the baby and the dog in the stroller. My little guy, my little he's usually somewhere around here. But she was pushing the dog and the baby, and it was like a hot summer day in Brooklyn, and she's just pushing. And little man just wanted to hold my hand. So here it is. This is little hand holding my finger, and I'm just walking with him because that's all he wanted. He wanted to hold my hand. Yep. And I looked at my wife and I go, ain't this some real shit right here? The baby wants me to be here to entertain and hang out, and you're doing all the heavy lifting. I go, ain't that some real shit? She goes, I swear to God, Ian, you motherfucker.
You better come up here and push the stroller and put your hand over there. That's what my wife would have said.
You better lean with it.
Yep,
I was
right.
look, man, I'm working. Okay, this is emotional support right now. He's asking for me. So
yeah,
that was it.
Jen would say, you better come pull the stroller. I'm going to cut that finger off and give it to him.
I'll put on a string. He can dangle.
I'm telling you,
there
just
it is.
Dangle it.
That's how it all works out.
Oh,
how about for you, my man? How was your positive?
Honestly, I'm gonna say yesterday was my positive.
Okay.
I mean, just being real. I mean,
Yeah.
The outcome was good. The response was overwhelmingly positive for me,
Yeah.
not so much
Yeah.
for Joey. Noah got some tweets taken down, which will hopefully prevent him from getting any more, hate going his way. And it felt like yesterday was a win, and I went into it, kind of nervous and just like, how's this all going to go? And to see everybody online afterwards and hear what everybody else thought, and to hear your feedback and Kaylin's feedback, and just getting comfortable doing a show that is outside of my my normal space. It's easy being on a show with you, because even if we disagree with something, you and I can disagree with something and make it funny, and whatever, and it's always with love. But when you're on with an actual opposition, and there isn't really any love there, it's like, okay, now how do you handle this situation? And are you going to ask tough questions, and are you going to hold them accountable to the things that they say?
Yeah.
And I just felt like I walked away with a few lessons. I felt like overall I had accomplished my goal and done it well, at least well enough to make sure that this individual is on record saying these things, so that it will be easy to discredit him pretty much for the remainder of his life. Like,
it was a masterclass of accountability.
I mean, once we get done clipping those, putting out those 2-minute, 5-minute clips of that show, it's not going to go well for him. And they're never going to go away. Like, he is always going to be on record saying that their abortion agenda is based off of religion. He is always going to be on the record saying that he posts the posts that he does for clicks, that he uses black women to put food on his table.
Right.
He is going to be on record saying that, and he can do nothing to get rid of it. So I just felt like I accomplished my goal, which was to publicly humiliate him and make him look like the fool that he is. And I learned that I need to be a little better at keeping my, the emotions that I share on these issues where they belong while I'm doing those type of interviews. Like you said, I can't beat my guests over the head repeatedly and call them pieces of shit. Most people aren't going to sit through that. Joey did, but most people aren't. I wouldn't. So, just knowing that, the lessons that I took from it, I take that as a positive too. And, and I just wanted to, again, say thank you to everybody out there who, engaged it and is, still engaging it, and, actually took the time to listen, because you may not like me and you may not like the things that I say. But if you watch that 1-hour video of Joey Manarino and me, the one thing you won't be able to say is that I can't dismantle the MAGA agenda. Because I can. And I will continue to do so. These people are full of shit. They don't have anything of value to add to our society. They never argue in good faith. They never ask questions in good faith. So I truly feel this is the position we need to take, which is when they go low, I'm going to dig their hole. And that's going to be my mentality until November. Because having Joey face to face showed me, and hopefully all of you, that they are empty, soulless people that will say anything if they think it'll put a couple dollars in their pockets. And if that's who you want to vote for, if you want to vote for that, the rapists, the criminals, the felons, the people that are spending more time in court than John Gotti, if those are the people that you want to vote for, go for it. But for all the people that supported...
This is a great positive. Just letting you know, this is a great positive.
Thank you. I appreciate that. No, it is a positive, because there were so many people. I expected it to be kind of 50-50. I really did.
Okay.
And he and he added his Twitter page. So I was like, okay, you've got 500,000 followers. I got 100,000 followers, plus whatever platforms, but, so maybe another 40, 50,000. So I got 150,000 followers. He's got 500. I was like, okay, so maybe it'll be even, the comment sections. But it was like, I went back and looked at the comments after, and it was like, there wasn't many people in there. There was a couple of trolls, but there weren't many people in there like defending Joey.
Yeah.
Like they weren't in there going, ooh, Joey got one on him. Like there wasn't any of that. And I think that was the one thing, I think I told you this, the one disappointing thing for me about the Joey thing was that I did not leave that conversation, debate, whatever you want to call it. I didn't leave it going, oh, he had a good point. Not one time did he say something that challenged what I presented or said or showed on the screen that left me going, okay, that I'll buy that. Not once. And that was the craziest part to me. It's like, if you're going to come head to head with me, I would expect somebody to at least do their homework. And so either you didn't do your homework or this is the best you've got.
Well, we did discuss this in the past. This is definitely a party of what filling upwards looks like, and this is the part. It really is coming down to individuals who don't put in the work, or they just want the clickbait type of, relationship. And that's the one thing that I just really encourage everybody to just take a pause and not get sucked in someone's bullshit and look it up,
And first off, yes, I know for a fact he pays for followers. And that's the other thing. I'm glad you said that. And that's what I'm going to end the show on, is follow the people that are more interested in you educating yourself than you following them. And Ian and I are very interested in, we'll give you our opinions, but more importantly, we want you guys to talk. We want you to talk to your families. We want you to talk to your friends. We want to start a dialogue between people. But most importantly, what we always tell you, go research it yourself. Don't just take what I'm saying. Don't just take what Ian's saying, as the word. Take what we said and let it be the kindling to a conversation.
Digest it.
Exactly. Digest it. Let it marinate, and then we want everybody to go find it yourself. Don't just take what we're showing you. You're probably going to find even more information that we couldn't even present to you. But most importantly, just when you vote, educate yourself, vote for everybody. The Supreme Court here in Arizona, I think 3 of the people, or 2 or 3 of the people, are up for re-election this year. One of them is the woman that voted to keep the stupid law. So, these elections matter. It's not just about the main headline, which is president and senator and Congress. It's also about your judges and your city council members and all that. So don't focus on all of it, guys. That's what we're about here. Educate yourself. Don't just take what we're saying. And hopefully you guys will also have a positive Friday night, no matter what you're doing. I'm going to go enjoy my son because he wants to show me how he can hit my 5-pound weights now. So
that's pretty dope.
So that's what I'll be doing after this.
I'm going to go start a TikTok and I'm going to roast all my enemies. So I'm going to do,
I mean, hey man, it's paying me about $1,000 a month right now. So
roasting my enemies and get paid.
Hey, somebody actually came. There was a show name up here. What? I think it was. Somebody said it. Where was it?
Okay.
We're gonna have to. We'll have to go back because I actually liked it. But
we'll go
look, guys, we're gonna end the show at 2 hours.
We only meant to be here for 45 minutes. But,
that was like, dude, the outline was only a page this time.
Yeah. And you guys, seriously, to everybody here in the chat, you guys keep us going. We really do love to see what you have to ask and chime in. We really appreciate the feedback. Again, subscribe, hit the notification so we can do this every Friday so you can see who's feeling something special or what stupid person is getting famous, because that's coming next.
Yep. And I'll leave you as I always do with much love. Keep fighting. We'll see.